It's that time of the year. Our clocks have gone back, and it's the season of All Saints and All Souls. Many of us feel vulnerable at this time of the year. You know, our evenings are starting to get dark early, and I don't know about you, but I like to close my curtains quickly now because I like to shut out that darkness. But as I've said, it's a time that many of us are remembering our loved ones that have gone. They're no longer with us, and actually it's a timely reminder as we go into our shops now, and on the counters we see boxes of poppies. Once again, it's a remembering that Remembrance Sunday is not far away. So yes, this is the season of All Saints and All Souls. And as I've already mentioned, this is a time when we remember not only the heroes of our faith, but also those whom we have loved and lost. It's a reminder that no one is immune from death, loss, or grief. But today, as I'm sitting here talking to you, it's All Saints' Day. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to pause and think about the saints. So a good starting point is, what is a saint? Well, I'm sure you have your own ideas of who you think a saint should be, or what they should be, or how they have lived their lives. But I think saints are not just special people remembered in church. I believe they're not pious. They haven't allowed their religion to take over their humanity. They're probably very much like you and I, but because of circumstances and for what they are, that we do put them upon a pedestal. But yes, I think we put them upon a pedestal because they are people that have done something wonderful. So yes, they do stand out in the crowd. But they are people who are rounded, consistent and whole. And yes, we find them very attractive as they communicate to us by their life and what they've done and how they've crossed all barriers. But as I said, they're just ordinary people, but they've acted in an extraordinary way, and that's what makes them special. And perhaps they're the ones that speak most clearly to us, the ones who in themselves are weak and vulnerable, and we can relate to them. And if you look into it, they're the ones that, yes, they've been beset by temptations, and I love that expression, softened by sin, because they lived ordinary lives, and they come from ordinary backgrounds. But, what was that expression? If they were famous, they would have been in all the gossip columns of today. So I'm sure you all have your favourite saint. I mean, some people believe in St. Patrick, and of course St. Francis. And I know the one that the children on the continent adore and love, and that's St. Nicholas, because on the 5th of December, that's when St. Nicholas goes round and gives out the presents. And I was trying to think to bring up today, because so many saints are seen as far distant characters. But there's a modern saint that we all know, and many of us it's part of our living history, and that's Saint Mother Teresa. And this was a little lady a Roman Catholic nun, who worked in India, and she looked after the poor and the starving. She was born in Macedonia, and from the age of 12 she decided she would devote her life to a religious life. So she founded, in latter life, she founded the Missionaries of Charity, and she opened the first home for the dying in Calcutta. Now, this lady was not immune to the harshness of the world, because she, in her lifetime, had much criticism, especially from the press. And you know how cruel the press can be. And they were very particularly harsh towards her, because there was so much criticism as to her medical care, the medical care she offered in homes. So, you see, she was not immune. But one has to remember that she did something that other people didn't. And on her death, thousands and thousands of people came out for her funeral. And of course, her name we know so well, and so many roads and buildings have been named after her. And I believe even in India, a train is named after her. So this tiny woman, famous for helping the poor and starving, and she was who she was. So good people can make us feel bad, but saints make us feel good. And I think saints are people who let the light through. They are like windows, like the windows we have in this church. And they're not just the stained glass windows, but clear glass windows. A window that perhaps we don't even notice until the light shines through. And we've got to remember, it's through the saints that we learn how to praise. Saints excite us about God. So, saints are not just people in stained glass windows. Stories of the saints encourage, yes, I'll use the word excite, and inspire us in our service to God. Their lives and testimonies point us to God's kingdom and the values of this kingdom. So it's joy, love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. But they also reveal what the kingdom is like. So finally, we can live lives in the footsteps of the saints. And remember, today as we remember them all, lives which bless us and others. God bless.